We are back here, Unfiltered, Grandma Worldwide Radio. I'm your host, Jay Skyline, the other host, James. So, all right, we are back. We were just talking about the top 10 duos. In the break, I sketched down my top 10 real quickly. Like I said, James will probably get his in for the show for Malachi, so he can just help him get in. I'm gonna put myself on wax to get whatever y'all have to say. Top 10 rap duos all the time. I'm gonna run out to my from 10 to 1 real quickly. Ray Shrimmer 10, 9 Clips, 8 Salt and Pepper, 7 DPG Dog Pound, 6 Run DMC, 5 Run the Jewels. We got the runs out the way. 4 Red and Meth, 3 UGK, number 2 Mobb Deep, and last but number 1 Outkast. Woo! So again, on both, everybody got that. That's my top 10. Figure out how y'all feel about it if you want. For once, y'all are not going to be calling me in my personal DMs, talking to me about this. Hit up Rambo Worldwide Radio's page, hit up Unfiltered's page. You can even hit up the Detour Show's page. Like I said, that's my top 10. This is not the top 10 for anybody, for Malachi or anybody else. This is just me getting my personal opinion out there since it's the top 10 out there. How do you feel?
I mean, just having 10 up there, Ray. Like I said, I'm about crisscross. I know you feel like, that they're a lot better. I just
think it's just the master pass or the student pass the master.
Yeah, I can see it. The crisscross ain't gonna do nothing ever probably again.
No, the one dude's gone. Was it Chris? Chris passed away.
The dog in there, the one that had the hair alopecia or whatever.
Yeah. So the one dude passed away like a year ago.
Oh.
But that's not RIP. Like still legend in the afterlife. Yeah, like I said, that's how my list go. I know you said you were talking about Camp Low.
Oh, absolutely.
I gotta think Camp Low should make the top 10. For some reason,
I really like him. Lucci. That's a great song. You're rocking the same funky beats. That
was like the pre-backpack. Like it was like them, the Most Defs, and all them with the that whole raucous era. But they came with that smooth jazz / That's Saturday Night Live or whatever it was, Uptown Saturday Night, whatever. We just might do top 10 CDs too, first debut albums too.
Yeah.
It's happening.
So. See, that's when you get me arguing in New York, because I feel like it's going to be an argument between Illmatic and Reasonable Doubt.
What is the top 2? The top 2.
Sorry for going off track. It's going to happen a lot.
No, that
would be my argument. Maybe what's M's first or not? Because I count Inferno as M's first album, so it's not great.
Okay.
So
I go with Outkast Southern Playlistic is up there too.
Yeah. Like, I'm not knocking that out. What was
all right, we can see.
Also Slick Rick's first album. Like that was like
I don't know the name of it. There's so many top 10. The top 10 is going to
Oh no, I can't wait till we get back to the miscellaneous top 10s when we start arguing about food again. It's funny.
Yeah, Pop-Tarts, that was my favorite top 10. Top 10 Pop-Tart flavors.
Okay. Like I say, you so bad. Maybe we'll do top 10 Pop-Tarts again.
Brown sugar and cinnamon.
No. We can have to make a day. Strawberry, brown sugar, cinnamon.
I don't know how everybody loves brown sugar cinnamon. It's like one of the worst flavors to me.
Oh no!
It's because my mom went out and got the ones that didn't have no icing on it.
Oh,
that was like the original.
That was just a pastry. That was just I don't even know it was a pastry now.
Like a Danish or what is that? I don't know. Pop-Tart to me. You gotta have that like
So yeah, that was me. Like, so we'll have those conversations too. I've had the conversation about. I can't wait till we get to the peanut butter conversation about me not knowing what peanut butter was for like the first 8 years of my life because my mom did.
Please don't introduce people to you this way.
Yeah, like I said, but
or do elaborate. Either way.
But I'm not elaborating. That's a main show story. It's basically the idea that there's certain things you just can't buy generic. I don't care how broke you are. Just don't buy it. That's where I'm going to get to with y'all. But no, like I said, the top 10 isn't like I said. Get more like Camp Low. I'm sure you were thinking about EPMD a little bit too.
Yeah, I could probably throw him up. Who else? Dog Pound. I would definitely throw the Dog Pound up.
Let's elaborate more into the Dog Pound because, like I said, I can't wait till me and Rob are in this building at the same time. Because we have not been in the building at the same time. But I would love. Like I said, I know you're a Dog Pound fan. I put Dog Pound 7. if you could quickly think of like a top 10 in your mind, would .com be a top 5 for you?
They could be up there. They could be 5 or 6. They could be up there even higher. I just had I just saw it today, so I didn't really.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for this. I was like, he just throwing at me. Okay.
So yeah, like I said, that's an idea for me. Like I said, is and I put Run DMC in my top 10. It was one of the things I had a question mark about the most. But again, Salt and Pepper's in my top 10, and it's just because I've always looked at Salt and Pepper, then Spinnerella. With Run DMC, it's just like, to me, it was a 3. Like I said, he was there. He was in the videos. He was always a presence. So, but again, as the 2 rappers go, that's a duo. They deserve to be high. I think it's the reason that neither of them made my top 5. I will give it that. I think
because of the controversy between DJ and third person.
Yeah, again, I think that's the reason. Because my top 5 was literally 3. My top 5 are groups that are just 2 people. Run DMC is 6, just outside. So, but yeah, like my top 5 from top to bottom now. Outkast 1, Mobb Deep 2, UGK 3, Run the Jewels 5, or Red and Meth 4, Run the Jewels 5. Just skip the whole number off.
Yeah, I was saying whatever it was, and he just learned how to count past 3 officially.
But like I said, but yeah, that's my top 5. And then Run DMC is 6, and then Salt and Pepper is 8. And those are the only 2 that have that even. Well, we can count Ray Shremmer in that argument too, because of why Mike Will made it. It's basically combined to them. But like I said, those were my question marks on the idea of the third person, Spinnerella, and all of them. So, but again. That's how I looked at it. Like again, how was that to you? Like, do you count? You count?
Well, then I mean, because I want to like throw in Eric B and Rakim, you know, like
I
mean, like that's like, is that a solo or but then like it's like, well, it's a duo, like you can't just like say like,
I would consider them more legitimate than like Jay-Z and Kanye.
Oh yeah.
Or Eminem and Word 5 9. I would count that way more legitimately.
See, those are the best 2 collaborative. Like those are like top 10 collaborative type.
Yeah, we did top 10 collaborative. This would be way
yeah.
different. But then would you take the duo aspect out of it? Just people that collaborated a couple times.
Yeah, they can be around. They can be.
I know, like I said, I like getting the criteria before I start saying stuff. So
I'll get better at making this easier and having some sort of criteria to my wild top 10. I'll just throw out there and say.
To merge over to another topic, because Thursdays will always be at least football. Like I said, we'll talk about sports every day of the week. Because it's our last show of the week on regular weeks, it's going to be football day. For me, this is me telling y'all what it is, my allegiance. I love Pittsburgh. Steelers are my number 2 squad. If you want to get into close up on the Facebook Live, and
don't really want to. No, won't do it.
Also, I just noticed I do love how West Coast the first day is. I got my LA shirt on. He got his easy.
Yeah. It's real West Coast there. It's real.
But like I said,
it's a Steph Curry jersey or something.
But yeah, like I said, I'm a Rams fan. Steelers are my Super Bowl pick. Like I said, I like to get there immediately because nobody's going to question me in February when they win the Super Bowl. Like I said, that's how confident I am in this because I don't believe in the NFC, and all y'all got to do is find a way around Tom Brady. It's a real hard find a way around. It's like going around a fat chicken line, but y'all can do it. But yeah, like I said, the sports year is almost here. Geeked up. Fantasy football, where we at Grandmother Fantasy Football League. We will be talking about it, talking trash on the air. I will be jumping into other people's shows to talk trash about their teams because Rob is going to be on there. Again, beta testing, so I'm not actually sure on who my peers are completely yet. Malachi will be on Take Them L's. So he's on there, but he's already me and him have been playing fantasy football together for years. Champ is here. Runner-ups is here. Like, this is what it is. I mean, explain yourself. Go ahead. I don't want you to shake your head.
I'm just like, it is the truth that you did win last year. But I'm definitely going to try to come and win this. I'm not right now.
Like I said, we are huge football fans. Like, we talk football heavy. I can't wait to get the listeners into the football talk between, he knows, because I talked about it on Tuesday. I said that the Steelers are going to have to choose between Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown. I think if the Steelers win the Super Bowl, Ben retires, Le'Veon Bell leaves, because why would you stay here when Landry Jones is your quarterback? Yeah. So that's my whole prediction of the season. It just matters on if they get home field advantage and they can beat the Patriots. It's a big-ass ifs. What's your idea of what might happen this season?
I can see the Steelers, running it. I think they can make it to the Super Bowl, absolutely. I mean, that's the Steeler fan in me. I mean,
You have like 5 teams though.
yeah.
Like, I mean, how are your Raiders? Because I know you're Raiders.
Raiders? Oh, I love the Raiders. They look great. Oh, I mean, if they don't get it this year, it's going to be sometimes within the next year or two.
They got to do it before Marshall retires.
I mean, they're going to run the ball. That's what it's going to be.
But yeah, like I said, I can't wait. Madden dropped the track list today. It is dope. I will post that on the Unfiltered page later. It's not a regular track list, so it's too big for me to just be running down every name. And I will post it on the Unfiltered page a little later on. Get that up to you. It's like a 2K track list. Like you would think that like Pharrell and DJ Khaled came together to get a track list or something. So, but yeah. Also, like we talked about the other day, Madden ratings are out. And like I said, I know we're gonna have gamers watching this, so I might as well just let that stuff go in there now. But yeah, like I said, fantasy football. Mattering on what I can do with numbers, it's either gonna be a 10 or 12 team league. The reason that right now it's 10, but I think we're going to need more because I want one fan. I'm telling y'all that right now. Figure it out because today I'm going to put the league together and figure out the day for the draft. It's going to hopefully be during one of our shows. But one fan will be lucky enough to be in our fantasy football league. I have to figure out if you're going to be here for life because this is going to be a multi-year thing. So, we'll talk about it, like I said. But after we get the main show up, I think it's going to be the first week of the show. We're going to try to get our fans and stuff up, see who's going to join our Ramo Worldwide Radio Fantasy League. Like I said, it's going to be on my Unfiltered page, but it's a radio league. Like everybody's going to be part of this. This is my contribution to being back on the radio is trying to get everybody else together. Also, I know there's going to be some other things that were in the works for the shows, coming out to the community, talking to people in live person on the streets. I want to get all that in. Back over to the sports, I have reasons now for the 3 suspensions and dismissal at Pitt. Sco was right. The 1-game suspension for the defensive player I heard about is a 1-game suspension for a DUI. I was wondering why he posted that on the live stream the other day because I thought he was talking about Bones Jones, and I know Bones Jones didn't get a DUI. So that was that. Whitehead and the other player that got 3 games. It's going to be a hard – because we're going to delve into this one more because Whitehead is a start. Again, Unfiltered, I'm not going to feed around that. Like the other guys are important, but they're not Whitehead. They got a 3-game suspension for weed. We're going to get into that. And then the 4th player has been dismissed from the team altogether because he put his hands on a coach. That gets you dismissed. I can't argue anything for you when you put your hands on your superiors. It's just what happens. If I put my hands on Malachi, I'm not going to come back into this again. I'm not coming back. So it's just what happens. But, yeah, when it comes back to the weed thing, because I'm with the university. I know it's hard for most of y'all to believe who know me, but because he got caught more than once. If y'all heard Malachi laugh in the background. He got caught more than once. You made a decision. You signed this basically a contract to play football for free for a university, which is a problem let alone on itself. One of the things in that giant handbook they hand you, because I played for high school football, and they hand you like a smaller handbook. I'm assuming the college one is huge. Now, should they test you for tree? Probably not. That's always one of my things. No, you should not get in trouble for this. But they told you that if they catch you doing this, you would get in trouble. It's not like the university decided to do this out of nowhere. So, and the reason I'm pissed off is I'm almost sure we're going to lose to Penn State this year, and that's a problem. And we got Oklahoma State the next year. Like, those are the 2 big games. Our 2 biggest games this year are the 2nd and 3rd game of the year. 2 biggest games. After those 2 games, and we can win those first 3 games, that gives us a chance for at least a New Year's bowl game. You'll be hard pressed for I say that the Pitt Panthers are a playoff team in college, but they could get back to like a Fiesta Bowl or something that's not in the championship playoff game. But they need to win them first 3 games. Like first and foremost, if the Youngstown State game is close, I will be talking about Penn State and West Virginia for the rest of the year. I won't even talk about Pitt. So I swear to God, we lose to Youngstown State again. I don't know what I'm going to do. So that's just one issue. But how do you feel about the suspension for the trees? But again, knowing that this is not the first offense.
I mean, it's not that bad with that. It's not that bad the suspension, but they are very. I mean, the first 3 games. I mean,
like I said, AP poll came out today. Shout out to Pitt. They were ranked 38. They only count the top 25 though to get the number next to it. Penn State 6. Oklahoma State is 11. That's our first, 2nd, and 3rd games of the year. The 6th best team and the 11th best team, which I actually thought we had a chance to beat both with Whitehead. Like, he's that good of a defensive third, games. Like, I think he led the team in tackles last year. So
it's a lot. I mean, that's a. I mean, it's pretty hefty. I mean, you're going to get fines. I mean, you're going to get suspended like that.
Again, and you're right. It is like, because in the NFL, your second offense is like a half a season, or four games. Since that's what happened to Le'Veon Bell when he didn't show up to the drug test. But yeah, like I said, that's definitely part of it. Also, because we're on Unfiltered as any other show on this place, I happened to listen to another radio show that I'm not going to name in person, but they were talking about Antonio Brown's newborn child. Congratulations. Saying that, they weren't talking about congratulations about the newborn child. They were talking about how Antonio Brown cannot be a good father because he has 5 kids with multiple women. And I was concerned about why would you spend a half an hour talking down about a person's new child the day after he had a child. And I'm not here to give you this psychological background of what happens when you have more than 1 or 2 kids, and if you got more than one parent outside of yourself. I just know that that's some BS that, like, I want to talk sports. If you get in trouble, I'm going to talk about you getting in trouble. I'm not here to talk about how you are as a parent, and I don't know why anybody else would do that. Like I said, it's just, like, how do you feel about somebody like going hard about something like that?
I mean, I wouldn't know. I mean, there's no reason to bring that up. We're not talking about that.
Right. Like, this isn't like, it's not sports, but I remember when we got the thing about DMX a couple years ago that owed like $1 million in back child support. That's a problem.
Yeah.
that's a different problem. But I never heard anything about Antonio Brown being a bad dad. I know about the Instagram model stuff, which is weird. But again, that's not my business. Do what you do, dog. But I've never heard one time somebody say Antonio Brown's a bad dad.
No, I watched live videos, like Facebook Live, and like, I mean, he seems like a cool dad. I mean, like, he's like, show with them. I mean,
like, so yeah, like again, I don't see the correlation. And the amount, like I said, you get to Rogers Cromartie or Flavor Flav level of kids, that's different. And there's a whole that should probably be a conversation. Like, you get to 10, bro, we don't talk about that. But no, man, like I said, the idea of having 5 kids and maybe I think he has 2 baby mamas. It's not like he has 5 kids, 5 baby mamas is different. But 2 baby mamas, 5 kids, people get divorced, bro. I mean, like I said, that's just something I thought about. Like I said, if you want to know the show that I talked about that, just think about your favorite video game and then put a favorite football video game and then put a local tie to it and you'll figure it out. But yeah, and then back over to the UFC side of things. Like I said, Cromer Jones. I'm hearing more and more about Bones Jones fighting Brock Lesnar.
Oh.
That's a 40-pound weight difference, and Brock Lesnar's on the roids. So,
oh damn! No, that's not.
Hey. Bones Jones says he can knock him out. I'm saying that unless you can prove that he's clean, I don't believe you. I'm not fighting nobody, but it's on steroids, bro. It's not even the fact that I don't know if you could beat him. I just don't think when you're on steroids, I don't know if you could get knocked out. Like, that's probably the time. That's like the time. Like, how hard is your hit facing a man that's on steroids?
I don't know steroids, man.
Brock Lesnar's like, I feel like Brock Lesnar's on the Russian steroids.
Shit, steroids.
Fucking Rocky or something.
like, that's what I imagine Brock Lesnar is looking like in his steroid consumption. Because, again, he got suspended for failing the test after his last fight, and it was like a 6-month suspension. You know what he did? He pulled himself from the drug program, meaning that the suspension is voided until he puts himself back in the drug program before he could do his 6 months.
Oh.
So he literally is like, oh, well, you aren't going to let me fight, then I'm just going to back out and just go do WWE. And they'll let me do all the steroids I can. And my phone goes outside. So, yeah, that's how that rolls. Oh, we're still recording. I'll post this up. So anybody who's watching the Facebook Live, this is where it's going to cut in for the regular show. Take these out. Yeah, this is going to be when the regular show comes out. Phones die, people. That's what happens.
Phones die every day, B.
But yeah, I can't help all that. Like I said, AP poll came out. Penn State 6, Pitt is 38. I will find out from my WVU people where y'all are ranked, but I'm pretty sure that y'all have a decent chance in the Big 12 because the Big 12 ain't that great. Like I said, geeked up. Football is back in town. You know what time it is? It's a time to fire Mike Tomlin time. Because that's all they want to talk about on the other side.
I thought you were.
No, I'm not.
I was like, what the?
No, I am convinced that because he's coming around. Because remember, I was one of the ones that said he was winning with Cowher's team.
Yeah.
I think we're getting past that point.
Yeah.
So, well, you know what? I'll still reserve judgment until Ben returns.
One person, I mean, you got his.
Because he's a defensive coach. I need to see if he can go get a quarterback.
Okay.
So
but I think it's far from Coward's team still. I mean, you still have the Ben, but I mean,
that's it. That's it.
Yeah, that's it from.
So after they made Ward and Palomaro retire, that was it.
No, I mean you got Harrison still. I mean,
yeah, Harrison, but like the awkward thing about Harrison is he left
and came back.
The Cowards, I just don't. The Cowards team is not the head team anymore. Yeah. There's other pieces that were not as.
Like I consider
a lot of Cowards team, maybe 3 or 4 people he brought in. Now it's like
I consider the Super Bowl team was a Cowards team.
Yeah.
The second Super Bowl.
You still say that?
Yeah, because it was only Tomlin's second year. Everybody was still there. Like everybody was still there for that Super Bowl. Now I could consider the Super Bowl L to the Packers Tomlin's team, which I think people underestimate the like. This is what I hate about Super Bowls. You lose the Super Bowl outside of the 0-2 Raiders. Everybody looks at you as like a terrible team, and it was like you still made the Super Bowl and lost. The 0-2 Raiders were a terrible team. Rich Gannon threw 5 interceptions. That was a terrible team. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, they say the most about the Bills. The Bills made 4 straight, and people forget that they made it 4 straight years.
But how did they lose 4 straight
years? 2 of them were like the flops that were like something happened. Yeah, one of them was like the 3 was just.
The one against the Cowboys, they got blown out like terribly. I know they played.
Yeah, I'm gonna say there was a loss. Like there's that Super Bowl loss, but you still should have had 2 at least. 2 out of 4, 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
You know, I still
0.
At least 1. Like, damn.
Oh yeah, like that's a
4 straight years. That's like you would have looked at as one of the best teams if you could have just won.
And I make that point all the time. One of the best teams of all time who just won.
Yeah.
Jim Kelly's probably thrown in at the top would be talked more as a best quarterback of all time. He just won. That's all. Because my issue is Joe Flacco got a Super Bowl. I don't think Joe Flacco's that great.
No. Trent
Dilfer. Yeah, I can say anything. We forget the name of the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay quarterback all the time. His name is Brad Johnson. It took us 3 years. Again, I wish we had the archive of our conversations of football. It took us 3 years. We used to like call each other like once a month and talk about Super Bowls and stuff. And we get to that point where we couldn't figure out who was the quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the Super Bowl. Yeah. And it was only 2002. Like I can tell you,
you different guy, not even that far like back in history. It's sad.
Like, I can tell you Super Bowl winning quarterbacks from most of the '80s, and I wasn't even alive. So that's where that toss sign is. Also, because we talk about all sports, NBA. Carmelo Anthony apparently does not want anything to do with the Cavaliers now because of the turmoil within the Cavaliers and LeBron James. And in fact, LeBron James is out at the end of the season. Go Lakers! LeBron to the Lakers. LBJ to the Lakers. Just gonna keep on saying that until it happens. But yeah, like I said, when Carmelo wants out, the only team apparently Carmelo is willing to raise his trade clauses for the Houston Rockets. Also, Queen B is talking about getting a stake in the Houston Rockets. The team is up for sale.
Oh,
now I think it's gonna be like Jay-Z where she gets that 0.2 point.
If Beyonce has a nice, that'll be a dope move.
Yeah,
that'll be a dope move.
We talked about that yesterday. Like I said, she will not be a majority owner, but she will be, like I would say, somewhere between 2% and 12% ownership.
Even just that high profile, involvement in it.
This will be
to be able to get the comments for like half price. They're like the WNBA all the way by them.
Oh yeah, they have a team in the WNBA. Yeah. She would be the 3rd musical person to own an NBA team in the last 5 years. Her husband used to have a part in the Nets. He had to get rid of that because it's a sports agency. And then Justin Timberlake is a co-owner of the Memphis Grizzlies.
That's right, yeah.
He's behind the scenes about it. Like he does like this, and that's the thing. I'm cool with it because most of the celebrity owners in most cases aren't out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was worried when I first heard about Jay-Z going to the Nets, which he only made like 1 or 2 lines. You know who made the biggest line about the Jay-Z owning the Brooklyn Nets? Kanye.
Yeah.
When he told him to cut from the teams.
That was insulting. He said, I like your girl, so I can get my man to trade you off the team. He's talking about, what was the dude?
Chris Humphries?
Yeah. Like, that was just.
So, yeah, that was the biggest thing about that.
That's Judge Judy. It was, I could win something out of that. That was just, wow. Like, it just did me dirty. Like,
yeah. So, yeah, like, and Justin Timberlake, is a rapper. But he never like made an entire song based on the Memphis Grizzlies. Like, I'd be corny. So like that doesn't happen like that. But I think Beyonce would do the same thing. Like, she might have like a bigger show in the arena. Like, she might have like a blowout or something. But like I said, I think Beyonce would be a non-factor in a visual presence as an owner, but it'd be cool.
It'd be a great. I'm not gonna say that like they need to bring women in. Like, it's not, but it's going to be one of them. You'll see a high interest in the Rockets, and then slowly it'll become like other teams. But the Rockets will have a high attendance, where I believe. Not that she's going to be there every week or anything like that, but it's just one of those things like.
There's such a good. Like,
I mean, it's still, it's Houston. And she's from Houston.
But it's the same thing with Brooklyn. Like, you may have been a Knicks fan all the time, but Jay gets Brooklyn. It's just like, all right, well, that is my home. You know, you just.
I've seen a difference in that. Like, with the ATL, because I've seen a lot recently with Atlanta's, like, I hear more about Atlanta's halftime shows than I do what's going on with the basketball team. And it's not the basketball team's bad, because they make the playoffs every year.
There's no squad one, like 2K14 or something crazy. Kill Sean.
But yeah, but I hear about their DJ and all their halftime stuff. They have 2 Chainz come out like once a month. And I think that's what Houston's going to turn into. I can't wait to like have like Houston is a place where they should have one of the legendary artists out every week. Zero, Chamillionaire.
You want rap? You think Houston's going to go the rap route?
For halftime, yeah. I'd do it for halftime.
I don't think they're going to do a lot of rap route halftimes. Like,
it needs to.
Yeah, they have a hip hop presence. I don't think that's going to be what they use for the basketball. I think it's.
Especially if they get the people they keep on getting, because they just got Chris Paul. They still got James Harden, who's huge right now in the hip hop world. He was just he was the star of a Travis Scott video like a week ago. Travis Scott's from Houston.
I don't see them busting out with a whole bunch of like Scarface at halftime and shit like that. I just don't see it. Like, I don't think it's that. You know, you might be more country, more like, I think it's gonna be more teams down in Houston. Not saying that Houston don't get down like heavy hip hop, but I just don't see like Atlanta. I can see 2 Chainz being their halftime. I can see it be a lot of rap in their halftime. It's just like I think Atlanta's
I
more.
feel like people underestimate Houston's blackness.
I kind of am. I might be. I really might be. I think I am.
Remember, because like Drake is basically like is an honorary resident of Houston now.
Wait, who?
Drake.
Drake? Yeah. That didn't help the blackness white that you were just going on. Like, I don't see how playing Hotline Bling at halftime counts and playing Houston music. Like, I don't know.
I mean, he did the same thing to the Bay. I don't understand how Drake just claims places he goes to. UGK, Bundy.
They're not gonna like. I can hear their music being played like in the background.
I can see.
I don't see like a lot of hey, and now it's Bundy, and hey, now it's Chameleon. I don't see a lot of.
I can see somebody like Bundy or Paul Wall. I can't see Scarface.
I'll see Paul Wall getting played. Where's
Mike Jones?
Where's Bubba Sports from? No, he from there. From
Mike Jones. I think Bubba Sports is from there.
Okay, but like I'm sad to say I don't see it going that way a lot.
Like I said, it's a cool conversation though. Like I said, it'd be cool as hell. Also, I don't even know how this has already happened. The Las Vegas Golden Knights hockey team is beefing with the Pittsburgh Penguins at the moment. The Las Vegas team hasn't even played a game yet. They just got done getting.
But it's because of the whole what was his name going over there, Flurry?
Yeah, well, it's like
that's the only tie they had to it. It's like
one under the issue. And this is Pittsburgh in general. Shout out to Pittsburgh. We have an issue when Pittsburgh teams play in like playoff games, and we play away playoff games and stuff. We're just away games in general. We take over arenas. If you watch the videos of the Stanley Cup Finals, you'll see that like half the crowd in Nashville was Pittsburgh fans, and we do that a lot. It's an issue when we go like when we play against like the Cowboys in Dallas and stuff like that. We go to places where there are a lot of, especially because we have a lot of Mexican fans, and I found that out recently. We have a large Mexican fan base, so whenever we play down in like Houston or Texas or Dallas,
okay, you said for that area.
Yeah,
I thought you were saying we take over everyone especially because we have a large.
Well, no, just like
I'm like wow.
No, just in the South. Would have like that happens in the South a lot if we go play like the Rams. I would assume that happened in Rams games or Chargers games. Like actually, the Chargers have a bigger problem with that than anybody. Because when Chargers play Oakland, they take over the stadium. Like because it's just a demographic. Black minorities like Oakland in the West Coast. So the minorities don't rock with the Rams. They don't rock with the Chargers. It's a black and gold. It doesn't show any game ties. Like they've looked into this with the 30 for 30 to Ice Cube. So it's just easier for blacks and Mexicans to join together for the Oakland Raiders. And it works. But like I said, there's a lot of issues with home teams wanted to make sure that away fans don't come. And the Vegas used the Penguins as the example.
Yeah.
They were like, make sure we don't have Pittsburgh Penguin fans taking over our arena. We're going to set up a ticket thing.
That started with the playoffs though, like in the Stanley Cup, because we did it like we weren't selling catfish or whatever. That was Woolies that he
no, but they be out here throwing catfish on ice.
Like so, it was like Woolies was like, the hell with that, no catfish for everybody out of town. Like what the fuck? Like they stopped like the seats when we were trying to go down. Not me personally, but when fans were going to Nashville, they were saying they were selling less seats to try to keep like. If your team is not favored, just let it not be favored. Prove them wrong on the court. Like,
yeah. Like, well, no, it's the idea that they want
fan who is actually spending the money to buy it. Like, what the fuck? Like,
they just want the home court. They just want home court or home ice.
Well, your team just has to be great and tell everybody to come the fuck out from that. Like, send a mail letter out around the neighborhood prior. Like, don't penalize us if we're willing to fly and spend more money than you across the street from the.
Well, Vegas is afraid of this more than any other city.
I think they're going to get everyone has home team advantage in Vegas.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem. Nobody's going to
always be an away team. Like,
yeah. And I said that as soon as they announced that, and the Oakland Raiders are moving to Vegas in like 2 years. Mm-hmm. Which Oakland is different because the Raiders are a West Coast team. They've moved around a lot from Oakland, LA, now to Vegas, and it's kind of like the middle ground between Oakland and LA. Oakland fans, no matter how mad they are that they're moving, are going to rep Oakland. It's one of the only teams in sports that can do that. I'm telling you now, Steelers leave Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh's done. We are burning shit down. Like the North Side is done. Like we don't even have the North Side no more if the Steelers ever tried to move. They go like the Rooney House.
I think we're burning down just on the thought of it. Like they're like, oh, Pittsburgh talked to so and so about moving. Right there, we're ready. Like, you did what?
So yeah, like Oakland's fan base is a little different. Oakland's fan base is, like I said, minority driven, so they're gonna travel.
And then, yeah, I can see Oakland and Pittsburgh are like the union teams. It's like once you're a fan, it's like how you're saying everywhere you go, it's like the union. It's like those things where the working class
and the Packers
not really flamboyant, so a lot of people will generate to that team to beat the flamboyant teams. The teams that got their superstars that don't want to get hit but want to make $400 million. Like so, we're that.
I look at
it's like the underdog story. That's what I think we get a lot of our fans.
I look at Oakland, Pittsburgh, and Green Bay as that. And because they're just smaller towns.
And Green Bay being like the ownership of everybody owning it. I love that. Like I think like it's their team. I like that.
And I look at that. But look, the Vegas Golden Knights, y'all brand new. Y'all fans are the city that was just happy to get a
I think they'll be the team that shaves points every year. Like they're like the first team like we are Vegas. It's like I need to go down and they're like I think it's like they had this shady.
You think the mob was gonna run the team?
I think all their teams will be like shady. Like
But yeah, they went on Facebook and used the Penguins as an example to make sure they don't come here. And then the Penguins went on Twitter and said, "Are y'all worried about us? We won't run this shit." And then the Vegas Knights tried to play how y'all gonna pick on the team that never played every game. It was like y'all started this. I feel bad for y'all. Y'all gonna win like 10 games in y'all first year anyway. Sorry, Flurry, but yeah, that's what it's gonna be like.
I'm glad he's the face of their team, but it's like I hope we don't get like a lot of backlash for the season they're going to have. Like if he gets up 5 goals and it's just like, oh, we're horrible for him. Like it's like
before all this happened, I wanted to buy a Flurry Golden Knights jersey because I was like, a Golden Knight jersey would be cool to have for a brand new team.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, fuck y'all. Again, I might
not be a hero one. I'm a hero one. You don't get a deal on Amazon. It's like, like he's 100. Don't put it past him. Follow for 1999. Don't pass it up. I mean. Watch.
If that happens,
yeah, see, you know it's possible. You know it's possible. That's what I'm saying.
He's right. But yeah, how do you feel about the new team beefing up stuff?
No, you can't be talking shit like that. You know, you haven't even played a game. You know.
Yeah, you haven't played a game. I don't know anybody else on your team. I wouldn't.
But maybe is that what they're going for? The hype. Let's pick on the defending champs to give us some sort of buzz so you watch us next season. Like otherwise, like
I don't think we really don't even care about them. I mean, like oh yeah, we missed Flurry, but
no, I'm saying the rest of the NHL. Like, is it like we're going at Pittsburgh in the offseason, so when the next season starts, we actually have some sort of rival?
No, the rest of the NHL ain't worried about us. Like that. I think it's more Las Vegas needing to build their fan base, so you might as well pick with the champs.
That's what I'm saying. Is it more of a ploy to just like let's build up, or is it like generally you think? There's an issue. Like I don't think.
No, they're just trying to build it. Yeah.
So, but yeah, like I said, that's some BS to me. Also, News about the Pirates, probably going back to the old Pirates again. There's this thing about if we're losing a fan attendance at the stadium. If the fan attendance keeps dropping, the team's going to lower their payroll and say it's because we're not paying to see the games. If they lower the payroll, they're going to stop paying players, meaning we're going to lose players, and it's not going to be. Yeah, it's this like long drawn out thing because baseball is the only sport that we have that it matters that we're not a big city because they don't put this much into the team, which y'all do that, man. Like the difference between me and the Steelers is I ended up watching the Rams as a child and just liked the Rams. The Pirates are physically going to make me stop rooting for the team. That's a difference. That's a completely different, man. Like I respect the Steelers. It's hard to respect the ownership of the Pirates.
Yeah.
So like that'd be completely different. That'd be the first time in my life where I actually stopped liking a team just because I have no hope. Like I have no hope if y'all do this. If they lower the payroll, it's not even a game. Like it's not what y'all doing with players. I like players. I like the manager Clint Hurdle. I like him. He's cool. Seems like a nice guy. But if y'all gonna lower the payroll and y'all giving up to me, y'all
can't lose anybody at this point. Like what y'all got here, it's like the lowest we'll take for it to still be a great team. Like we want y'all to get some more superstars, but we're all right with this. If you start going any lower than this, now it's like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Because it's a great stadium. It's like you just want a couple more home runs, a couple more wins that are easier, and I think more people will go. I've never been to a winning Pirates game.
I don't think. Wait, did we go? Did they? No,
they didn't win that. No, we went to a game last
no
year.
matter what I go, like it was just like they want to win streak. Then we go tomorrow, they lose. Like, I've never been to a close games, great games.
We left us losing by like 4.
Yeah, that's right.
I went to 3 Pirates games last year. They lost all 3.
Oh damn.
So I had one close game, but the rest were like 3-point blowouts and 4 like that. So
I think the last time before that, I mean, I can remember it was like Liverpool has destroyed us. Like I think it was a 3-game series. You know?
That's why
that's like the one thing. When I watch Pittsburgh sports live outside of college sports, it doesn't really end well.
No.
Actually, no, I take that back. I watched I was there for the Penguins ice game this year. It was work related, but I was there and they won. But like, I've never went to a Pirates game that they won, and I've gone to Pirates games since I was a kid.
We need more just the heavy swinger. Like we need bats. We need that draw because people are willing to go. Like it's not one of those things where like we love going to our game. It's just you don't win. Also, enough like that.
Thinking about it, it's not all y'all fault. The Korean dude was supposed to be a boss. I don't know what's happening with him. That's not anybody on the Pirates team.
Well, that was my dude. Kong or whatever. Yeah. He got the DUI over and now he can't get back. Like, and he was actually good. Like it was like it.
But that's what I can't blame the Pirates for that.
No, that's not.
And then I can't blame the Pirates for Starling Marte.
No.
Which, if he was here from the beginning of the season, we might actually get a lead in the division. Because we're only like, 3-4 games out. I can imagine his.
I mean, a little more, maybe 5.
Okay, I know last week we were only like 3-4 games out.
Yeah, they just lost 2 games to the worst team in the like so.
Okay. So yeah, like Starling Marte's RBIs and home runs would have at least I think would have got us another game, a couple games. Like I said, he's not the whole team. Baseball is like the ultimate team sport. Even though it's boring to me, you need everybody on a baseball team to win. Basketball, you don't need that. And you can have a great football team. You only got a quarterback. It's over. Like Peyton Manning is the only time I've seen a true Peyton Manning winning that Super Bowl with Denver. Sorry for your boy. Peyton Manning winning that Super Bowl for Denver is the worst quarterback ever to win a Super Bowl. At the current time.
At the current time, absolutely.
The worst quarterback ever won a Super Bowl.
He should have never really even started.
No, but that's also how you know how bad Brock Osweiler is.
Yeah, get that Papa John's money, man. Got 7 2 pies, brother. That's what that was.
But yeah, like I said, at that moment in his career, because Peyton Manning's top 5 that are alive on quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But that last season,
before the surgery,
Oh no, because even after the surgery, his like first year with Denver was one of the greatest quarterback years of all time. It was just that very last season. He got cut. He got benched like halfway through that last year. The one they won that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that also proves how great that defense was. But yeah, that was a terrible season by Peyton Manning. But yeah, actually,
I'm not dealing with the Jada top 5 that are alive for Brady.
Yeah,
sorry, I'm just hearing that part later. I'm like, did he with the Jada give top 5 that are alive? Okay.
Yeah, Peyton to me was an offensive coordinator on the field. It's the first time we've ever seen a quarterback. We see it with Ben now. Ben can do it now. But Peyton started that. I'm going to the line after real offensive coordinator. This is my play. Like, and it was real because at first when I thought of this, I'm like, this is going to be a guy throwing the ball every play. He audibles the running plays. If he sees that he thinks there's a good running play, I've watched Peyton Manning audible to his running back, which at that point you really are the offensive coordinator. To me, it's really easy to be selfish.
Yeah.
Like if you
to keep the quarterback, every play is gonna be some sort of
right. It's really easy. Like that's an issue with basketball and point guards sometimes. With the Kyrie Irving situation, I don't think Kyrie's selfish. I'm just saying that looks like a situation where people have been calling Kyrie Irving selfish. So, did you hear? You ever heard anything about that? Kyrie Irving about a week ago asking for a trade for the Cavaliers. And people, the thing is, the question is, where do you think you're going to be better? Like, how do you think there's going to be a better chance to win a championship leading LeBron?
What the Warriors? No. Come on to the team, Durant. That good old Durant. Peace. Like, no 2 week notice, no nothing. I'm out. That's that Durant right there.
But
I got another job on the West Coast. I'm out of here.
And then the teams that he said he wants to go to is Miami, which could be better. Like it's not like I trust Pat Riley. Yeah. The Timberwolves, who just picked up Jimmy Butler, they got the Greek Freak, and they got a couple other people, so that would be a team. And there was another squad that he talked about that I'm forgetting of. And then
Spurs.
Yeah, he brought up Spurs. He said Spurs.
We gotta give me some teams that like you're a high caliber point guard. I don't need you going somewhere where you're helping the team redevelop.
Oh no, Milwaukee. If he goes to Milwaukee, Milwaukee's top 14.
Okay. Because Jimmy Butler got in the championship because you're like.
No, that's the problem with the 4th team. Because the 4th team, I'm like, bro, you're never gonna go nowhere. He wants to go home. He's from.
You do that your last year, man. That home thing, man. Do that your last year when you about to retire. You're done.
So does anybody in here know what home is for him?
It ain't Cleveland. It ain't. It ain't the championship team. So I mean, where are you from?
He's from New Jersey, but he reps the Knicks. He wants to go back to the Knicks.
I don't see that. I don't see him. The Knicks. Like I said, ever since Brooklyn coming into play, I don't see the Knicks.
Oh, the Knicks are still the team for New York. Brooklyn has not taken that over. The stadium for the Nets is taking over everything for concerts. They moved one of the hockey teams into the Barclays Center. Yeah. The Barclays Center is taking over things. Like I think they're taking stuff away from Madison Square Garden. Okay. But the Knicks are still the team for New York.
Okay.
But
says you because I've been watching Nick Name and all that.
Well, no, because Carmelo, man, there ain't nobody on the Nets. Nets was the worst. Remember, Boston had the first pick in the draft last year. You know why? Because it was the Brooklyn Nets pick. That's how bad. Like they had the Brooklyn Nets pick, and the Brooklyn Nets technically earned the first overall pick in the draft. That's how bad Brooklyn is. The Nets are at least entertaining because they got Carmelo and they got Porzingis. Yeah. So that's the reason. Like people watch the Knicks. I remember they kicked out the one dude this year, like in the middle of the game. Like they're a sideshow. That's why people watch the Knicks. That's sad
because I just like the Knicks weren't that.
Right. Right now they are a complete sideshow. They had Phil Jackson out here not even running the team. They fired him a few weeks ago. So yeah, he wants to go to the Knicks, which I think is one of the 5 worst run franchises in American sports.
If you trying to get off camera, you don't want to be.
Oh, be on camera again. Every game, Madison Square Garden is Madison Square Garden. Like I said, we forget how us in Pittsburgh forget. If you play in New York or LA,
playoff time. I ain't talking about.
I know there ain't no playoffs.
I'm like New York, shout out to New York. Yeah, I understand the staple of Madison Square. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I don't want them going there because they're not ready for that. Like the team is like, let's like leave running for a year. Let's see what happens. Like at this point, like they're like it's like one of them type. I don't. New York legacy isn't there right with the Knicks for me. So, but
again, I said the Nets are worse. What happened with the Nets? If you're not a big basketball fan, when they moved to Brooklyn, they did this big trade with Boston to get KG and Paul Pierce, and they also picked up Joe Johnson, the American Dream. I'll explain the Joe Johnson American Dream line later. And they didn't. Oh, and Darren Williams was on the team. It was supposed to be like a mega team, and it fell apart. KG and Paul Pierce are old. Darren Williams is not that good of a point guard.
I don't like Darren Williams as a point guard.
He was terrible on the Cavs this year. And Joe Johnson was the only bright part. And Joe Johnson was out here killing it with Utah this year in the playoffs. And then all that fell apart. The thing is that when they made that trade with Boston, they gave them every first-round pick for like the next 10 years, which was also the first-round pick Boston got this year, even though Boston was in the conference finals. They got the first pick in the draft. They were in the conference finals. That's how bad your draft is. Yeah. So that's how the Brooklyn Nets. I was like, yeah, Brooklyn Nets are there, but they fucked up pretty badly with the trade, and now their team's going to be terrible for like another 3 years. They don't have the Boston has their first pick for next year too. That pick was made in 2009.
Better off go to Boston and just wait, and yeah, that little thing.
But yeah, well, that wouldn't happen because why would the Cavs give their second best player to Boston?
You can get Isaiah Thomas or what's his name?
I don't know.
That's a good trade.
Oh, Kyrie Irving's better than Isaiah Thomas. There ain't no big man. I like Isaiah Thomas, but you're 5'8" or 5'9", bro. There's limits. You're not Spud Webb. That's the other thing. You're not Spud Webb. So
you got to sing to the play. I mean, he was up there. That's the big thing.
Oh yeah. No, he's a good player. He's an all-star. Not trading Kyrie. That's right. That's right.
Some stuff like I said, people.
Like I said, it's easier for me to have stuff whenever people are tossing stuff like out there. Like, I'm sorry, looking at you like it was the craziest thing I've ever heard. It's definitely one of the crazier things I've heard this week. Yeah, like I said, I don't know why.
I tried to go down now into that. Yeah, Boston trades for like, aha.
And I will still be talking shit like, you know what? There's a problem here.
They better throw some more people in that.
Yeah, they'd have to give up one of the draft picks. But yeah, like I said, the Nets, Knicks, like I said, all that. But yeah, Kyrie Irving wants out of Cleveland. I understand. He's 25. People forget how young Kyrie is. He's already won that title, and he's 25. Why do you want to be Robin or Nightwing for the people that think Nightwing thing? Why would you want to be Robin? I've heard that argument was like if he leaves and he becomes Nightwing. I'm like, I took that comic book thing too far. Yeah, it's like he doesn't want to be his Robin. Kevin Love is not that great. And I think, again, LeBron James will be a Los Angeles Laker next year, getting these lobs from Lonzo Ball wearing them triple Bs that I will never be wearing unless they go on the super duper sale. I need like 10 coupons in one time to work for that.
I need to do something else.
On the sale.
Free Wendy's for a month. I need something with those.
So yeah, that is a big deal right there. On top of that, like I said, I think Paul George will be there. Like I said, I'm geek, man. Like I'm a Rams fan for football, but we ain't got no basketball team. So I can rep these Lakers, and I feel bad because I sounds like I'm over repping the team in the city. So can't wait for that. You got a basketball squad you're rooting for? I don't think we ever talk basketball.
It's not really too much basketball, but I mean, it was always the Timberwolves.
Explain that. You gotta explain that. That's okay.
I said Timberwolves?
Yeah.
I mean, they was cool when they went.
Yeah,
KG.
Yeah, KG.
But that was, I don't know. I don't really have no.
They're one of the best teams in the league now.
I mean, I haven't watched, unfortunately, not too much lately.
Oh, they're a good team now. They got the Greek Freak, who's the black dude that's like 6'9", like Antetokounmpo. That's how you pronounce his name. I know that's how you pronounce his name.
He pronounced that. They can't say something like Michael and like Tyner or like wow. It's crazy the names you can pronounce, but the names you can't. Right.
And then they got Jimmy Butler, and they got Andrew Wiggins from the trade for Kevin Love a couple of years ago. So the Timberwolves are decent. It's just the market, and it's always weird when you like the Super Bowl's gonna be in Minnesota next year. That's weird to me. Yeah, like I said, I think the Timberwolves are up and coming. I think if the Timberwolves got Kyrie, that makes them top 3, and I think they're in the West. I think that would make them top 3 in the West immediately. And the West is hard. Speaking of the West, the Clippers are falling apart. Chris Paul left. All they got is DeAndre Jordan and Brian Griffin, a.k.a. Big Drake.
Blake
Griffin.
Brian Griffin. I said, Brian Griffin's on the team? Oh, shit.
Shout out to Finley guy. He's like Air Bud.
His emotions is crazy, bro.
But yeah, Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan is all left. And I don't like any of them dudes that on that team anymore. But they needed Chris Paul. Chris Paul is your point guard that helped the two big guys be worthy.
So that sounds like an opening for
Kyrie.
Yeah.
The thing is, we say that, but there also got to be somebody that gets traded that's like around the level of Kyrie. And the only two people on the team are Griffin, and I don't count DeAndre Jordan. You can't shoot free throws.
15,000 Clippers fans over to Cleveland, along with the trade. But they have more fans than
also,
players.
All the Clippers fans are closet Lakers fans waiting for the Lakers to come do it again.
It's just like the stadium. This is the fact that you just that's the weirdest little like split team, but y'all in the same stadium all the time. Like, that's just the weirdest. Y'all should just play all the time.
Clippers, Lakers, and the Kings, the hockey team, all playing there. Really? Mm-hmm. Now the Clippers owner said they're looking to get they build their own shit now.
I need to beat that part. That's a penny picture for your ass right there. You got 3 teams all in one arena. That's how you take the penny right there.
I remember, this is funny to me. About 3 years ago, 3 or 4, no. about 5 years ago was when the Clippers started coming on, but it was like towards the end of the Lakers. They both made the playoffs at the same time, and it was the same year that the Kings, the hockey team, won the Stanley Cup. They were all in the playoffs in the same time. As hockey and basketball playoffs run the same. There's a video on YouTube where they do a time lapse. They had like a hockey game, like a basketball game with
the fans out. And
they have to change the court. Yeah, they have to take out the courts. Even like the Lakers and the Clippers don't play on the same court. They physically don't. They don't repaint the logos. They take the fucking wood off, put new wood down for each team. Secondly, did you know up until like 3 years ago when the Clippers played, all the Lakers banners were still hung up? Yeah, like the new owner had to go in and tell them like we're not playing our games with the Lakers banners up there. Also because until 2 years ago there were no Clippers banners at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They were just always
Lakers and Kings banners. Now they left the Kings one up, but they made them start taking down the Lakers banners.
This is only right. Like that's kind of like real disrespectful.
Yeah,
it's not like you're a college team. It's like you're the other pro team trying to make it. It's like you're not going to the championship.
Oh, the Panthers
get that out your head.
I don't know, because I have a history with the stadium in the city. The Panthers, outside of the Great Hall, because you can't take down trophies and shit. Mm-hmm. The Panthers make you do everything. They put up all that sideline stuff. They make them drape off all the sideline stuff. I'm telling you now, if they can make them put something over the yellow seats, they would. They can't, but they would. If they can figure out a way to get it. Because that's the weirdest thing watching pit games is these bright-ass yellow seats because they're never sold out. So, so yeah, that's the thing. Like, even the universities that play in the same places, people don't want to be a little brother. Mm-hmm. Like, that's something that – and Clippers are a little brother. They weren't good until about 5 years ago. Before 5 years ago, your best player was Byron Davis. Yeah, I don't know who Byron Davis is. Go look it up.
Coach, you're going to get oh boy, he's
all right, so we're going to wrap this up. Like I said, we might get one more live broadcast in before the end of the day. But this is Unfiltered. The homie James is here, like I said.
Explain the beer on the next segment.
Yeah, we'll explain the beer on the next segment. And like I said, he's going to get more, like you said, he's just getting used to back in the state. We're going to be talking more. I'm not going to be running this, like I said. So, but yeah, like I said, we'll be back. Unfiltered. Grind Mode Worldwide Radio. Shout out to My Sounds Wireless. Shout out to Blue Diamond Vodka. Those are the only two people we got sponsorships right now in my eyes. Like I said, My Sounds Wireless rides wherever we go. And you'll see Blue Diamond soon, I'm assuming. So, like I said, we here, James, Jordan, Jay Skyline, any way you want to go with it. And Malachi in the background, like I said, always shout out to Malachi, disembodied voice. I like that.